anytime. I'm from Denmark. It rains a lot. You might think it rains a lot here. It rains a lot more in Denmark and snows. So it's a thing you can do anytime, basically. No matter how cold, how warm. It also takes nothing. As long as you have, a little bit of space, you can do it. So it's very convenient in that way. The next thing is that you can slow down the movement. It's a hectic thing to skate. Everything goes very fast, you're going to be tired, exhausted. You won't have the advantage of having a mirror, for example, right in front of you, or having a coach to tell you what to do. Whereas when you do Dryland exercises, everything is slowed down. You can look down at yourself. You can even slow down the movement. Where if you do this on skates, you're going to get wobbly, you're also going to get tired, you're not going to go fast. Where here, you can really move around or control those movements. So lots of benefits to this. The downside when doing Dryland exercises is we are still limited. We're not on wheels, but today we're going to divide it a bit. So Sofia is going to explain the classic Dryland exercises that we believe can make you better at inline skating, the things where you can fix all these details, and then I'm going to hop in between our exercises and give some not so classical, but more things we try to invent to bridge the gap between doing things in shoes and then doing it on our skates. When I say it's limiting, I mean when you're out skating, you can create a lead, you can have leverage here, you can play around with gravity basically. But we do something here. If any of you have seen really fast inline skaters, you'll notice that we're a lot on the outer edge of our skates, our wheels, and the more you can do that, the more you can play around with your body weight, the faster you're going to go. But as I just demonstrated, I can't do this without having a hand here. So the exercises here will be ways that we can try and imitate even the parts of skating that we can really imitate.
So I'm going to demonstrate the pretty simple basic exercises that I've been doing my whole life, and I believe that besides the inline skating, this is the workout that benefits the most for the skaters because you can work with specific skating muscles. You can do it with a weight training. You can do it running. You can do it biking. But this workout will allow you to skate with those muscles that you will use skating. So doing as much of these exercises will improve your skating for sure. The first exercise I'm going to demonstrate is the more basic single leg up down. Basically, it's just an up down on one leg. It's going to look like this. So this exercise allows us to strengthen those muscles and work on the skating position. So the main focus in this exercise is going to be shoulders, knee, and toe aligned. So we don't want shoulders to go too down or too up. So everything should be aligned, doesn't rotate to the sides, doesn't cave in. So everything should be aligned. And go as low as you can, because the lower you go, the longer you get to push, right? The longer you push, the faster you go. So try and focus on getting low, keeping everything straight. And it's a pretty simple movement. If it's a little too challenging, too hard, I would suggest to start with the 2 leg up down, and then go into one leg and get up. The most important thing is that you do this exercise very technically good, because we want to focus on quality rather than quantity. We want to strengthen those muscles, but if you don't do this exercise correctly, it's not going to benefit us. So that's the first exercises that you can include in your Dryland workout, and I believe that it is a really good exercise. The next exercise features
Yes, just to highlight the thing that even though we start out with the most simple exercises, we spend a lot of time we train in Salt Lake City for the entire U.S. speed skating national team. Lots of foreign national teams are training. If you come by the over there, we're going to see basically all of us do these exercises twice or more a week. So the most simple exercises are still crucial. I think, yeah, these should really be the focus here. And then later on you can add these other things, but you're never going to be too good for doing one leg squat. So this thing, very simple, goes up and down, but then when we're out on the road, out on the street, you're not going to go very fast if you're just doing up downs. So we're going to have to push to the side, which again is a super simple thing. You push to the side, generate speed, you go forward. But when we do this, there's so many forces that will impact the body. There's a big chance, even Sofia mentioned it, I think if all of us are just to do a one leg squat, something is going to be wobbly, even if the leg is straight. We're going to compensate with this leg, or compensate with the shoulders. There's lots of small things, which is great. Why it's a great thing to have a mirror in front of you when doing these. Also a great thing if you can find a line. We're very likely to open up things. Let's push a little backwards. If you have a mirror in the line, do these things in front of that. So the next thing is not so much the push itself. I think we can all easily push to the side. It's a very simple thing. But to be able to push, lift them, and then use the leg muscles to compensate for that switch in where the center of gravity or position is incredibly difficult. So we go down, push to the side, pretty simple. A lot of us will have a tendency to do this. So it's a great way to activate the glutes, and then do a circle behind here, and let that come forward. Now doing that is a very simple thing. But I also think that if you all do this in front of a mirror, you're going to see that even when you get this on point, the second this starts going backwards, it's so much easier to just do this. And if we do that when we're out skating, all that speed, instead of pushing into the ground, instead of pushing away from the ground, we're just letting it go backwards. And then once we don't finish that, we let the hips go out of position. It's only going to get worse and worse from there. Then we lose that, we're going to compensate by turning that way, and then all of a sudden if we only use a third, again what Sofia said, the most important thing is the technique here. If you're just not pushing, but just gliding that way, because you have to compensate by tilting things, then you only use the last 20-30% of the push, and then no matter how strong you are, use 30% of the push. You got to push really hard to keep up with those people that push the whole push without letting it fly away. So the next exercise that we recommend is really just doing circles and trying to keep all of this. Basically what Sofia just showed. A good way to start all these exercises is just getting into that nice basic position, and then get to the point where you can lift one leg and then push. And you will notice that you're going to get very sore in super tiny specific muscle groups. Which again, if you don't do these, you're not training those muscles. So it's definitely fair that we're challenged in that way, because whoever walks around like this in the street, that's a very awkward thing. Which a nice way to train the muscles that we need to do this, to train the muscles to keep the hips flat when we skate, is to just do leg lifts. I think people will be surprised how difficult it is to do this without opening this or without doing this. So this is a good exercise to train on.
Yeah, circles are great exercise, and then you're going to be really swimming in the here. I think it's also important to mention while doing these exercises, simple leg up downs or circles, the aiming leg should get some recovery while doing this. So you actually can get a little bit recovery while you're staying on this leg. So this leg should not be like very tense. You shouldn't be like contracting over every muscle. Only include muscles that you really need, that will allow you to even skate longer. Even when you're skating, try to not to be too tense. Try and also focus on relaxing the shoulders and every muscle that you don't use in skating it will help you to continue longer for faster. Okay. The next exercise I'm going to demonstrate is the weight transfer. Weight transfer is a very good exercise that allows us to work on the body awareness while moving the body weight from side to side. I'm just going to demonstrate it. So why is this exercise good? I think it's good because we don't want to have our body weight in the middle when skating. In order to push very hard, you gotta have all your body weight on one leg in order to have all the power and strength to push it to the side. That exercise allows us to work on it in a slow movement. It's not as hard in comparison with skating. So the main focus of this exercise is gonna be to have the hip on the outer and have all the body weight on the leg that we're standing in. To check this, we can lift up that leg a little bit to make sure all body weight is on one side. And then slowly move our body weight to the other side. Also, it's good to coordinate your swing, arm movement with the leg movement. I think it's a really good exercise for this as well. And that's going to be my second exercise. Teacher might add something for this exercise as well.
Yeah, just again to mention, if you notice all these exercises, they all start out with finding that basic position. Like when she was over here, she was doing that same thing. She demonstrated the up downs, I demonstrated the circles. They all come from a good position. So if that's out of control, you can't make up for it. So first things first. But then moving on the fingers, Sofia went from one side to the other, it looked perfect. But again, we're out skating, we would want to get even further on the outer edge. So a good way to practice this, we call it the outboard hops. Obviously you can't be immobile here because you're going to tilt over. But if you get into skating position and make small jumps like that to the outside, you will quickly feel how it feels to catch something, how it feels discomfort of being in a position where you can't just catch it. So practicing this, I try to demonstrate without the mic. Get into that position, and then small jumps to the side. It's perfectly. I often tilt over because, you know, that's the whole point of it. So really play around with that. We usually do 5 to each side, and then switch back. And the more you do this, the more comfortable you're going to be. And the more you can find a rhythm where you can really feel like, if I stop at this point, I'm not going to stop. And that's not just going to activate those muscles, the outside here, the thing we use to push underneath ourselves and get on the outer edge of our wheels, but it's also going to teach you to land it there. If you skate well, I mean, if I was to say one thing that makes the difference between the best skaters and slightly less fast, I would say that it's the ability to just use your body weight and generate speed from the previous push onto the next. Like if I was to really grind every single push like I was doing squats at the gym, I would be exhausted after a few minutes. But if you can just almost float it, like Sofia said, it's a solid noodle. You've got to be so solid in some spots, but still relaxed. And a big part of that is being able to be relaxed on the outer edge. So do this over and over, and at some point, this is going to feel comfortable on skates. So that will be the next exercise. Get comfortable doing these small jumps on the outer edge. Again, try to do this with a mirror because it's very easy to see. Cheating with all the left foot up basically.
That one push is hard. I can do it. But I can do the hops. Of course, you gotta also practice on your lines. It's not that you can train the hops, but it's Still not the same, but it's gonna help you learn that smooth inline technique, like Viktor had. Okay. The last exercise is probably the closest to actual skating. Called the skating rotation. And I'm gonna kind of demonstrate that. Like a little combination of weight transfer, up, downs. This is the closest we can get on the shoes to the actual skating. And all the basics, if you do those exercises perfectly, weight transfer, up, downs, you gotta try to transfer this to this exercise because this exercise is very useful for straightaways. And again, all the focus point is everything aligned. Knee could be a little wobbly because it's very challenging physical exercises, but try not to cave it in too much. Try not to open the ankle, just everything straight, and put all this power into the push. Into the push. Not turning shoulders to the sides, and just try and keep everything straight. And put all your power into the push, and it's going to be efficient on the skates as well. That was the last exercise.
Would any of you have an idea to what could be bad about this exercise? No? Alright. When skating, you should, like I mentioned before, you should lead with your body weight. If you put your leg out there first, this is not going to generate a lot of speed. You would want your hip to be leading. Sofia did a great job seeing when she's leading with the hip, but if she was really having the hip further out, she would tilt. It's the same thing again. You can't imitate that as well in shoes because we tilt over. So even if we go with the hip first, we still need something out there to stop that motion. So the last exercise would be dry skate, double jump. So to allow the body to really move as we would do on skates, put the leg down right on the center of gravity where it's supposed to be, where it naturally falls down. It's a lot easier to push like a stick. If you have a stick in a straight vertical line, it'd be a lot easier applying pressure to that stick without it breaking. The same way, you put the leg down under the center of gravity is where you can push the most, which is why you will want to put it down under yourself, but then you're going to tilt. The next exercise is where we accept that movement and hop. Dry skate and hop. So the difficult part about this is not so much the dry skate and hop movement. The difficult part is making it one movement. What I said earlier, if you use the previous movement, the previous stroke, generate a new stroke. Skating is so much fun and so easy. So when you do that dry skate movement, make sure that this will never pause. So you won't just go there. It has to be one movement. Like I said before, it's totally fine to tilt over. It just means you're falling over, you're definitely in the outer edge of your shoes. So that was the final exercise, the dry skate double hop. If you can't remember all these things, I filmed them over there. I don't know how that music's going to be, but at least the sound is there, so it's a good reminder. And that's it. If there's any questions to this, or whatever questions you might have that you feel like we're really good at answering,